I don't have any picture. Where'd you all go? Woohoo! I see you there, Jay, but I don't see anybody else. Where's the picture? Come on now. Oh, there it is. Well, nothing says Happy Valentine's Day like smoke on the water, so how about that? Anyway, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day to you and to your loved ones. Richard Preston, Annie Duckett. I made it. It's still trickier than the old program, but I think we're going to make it okay. So, Jay Angley, you tried twice. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging in there. Kent Wells, good to see you. Good to see you all the way from South Dakota. Are you buried in snow? I bet you are. I bet you are. This is going to be our Valentine's call-in show. And what that means is I want you in a few minutes to call in. The phone number is 951-587-1623. And if you're like Debbie and I, you've got stories that you could tell. A lot of them you can't tell on Facebook Live, but you've got some other stories that you can tell. Maybe how you met, maybe about your first date, maybe about what God's done in your life. We want to hear from you. 951-587-1623. But let me read this little bit of a reminder to those of us that are in relationships. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Couples. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with the truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. And it always perseveres. Love never fails. Love never fails. Well, Debbie and I are celebrating 43 years this summer, and I'm excited about that. And we're just hanging in there and pushing forward and doing well. I'm glad to see that you're on here, Sean. Good to see that you're on here, John. The phone number that you're going to be calling into is 951-587-1623. But what I want to make sure you do is when you call in, turn off your computer volume. You won't be able to hear because there'll be a delay between this program and your phone or your laptop or whatever. So let me hear about your wedding day, about your honeymoon, or about your dating period or engagement period. Let me hear about what God's done in your life. This is a time for you to honor your spouse or tell a funny story about your spouse. This is Valentine's Day. Let's show each other some love. Cheryl, how you doing? Good to see you. Dale Pearson, good to see you on there. We want to hear your stories. Yes, save some chocolate strawberries for you. I did. I bought my wife a bunch of chocolate strawberries, and my goal is that she'll get to have one before we go to bed tonight. Connie Ream, see you on there, but that's probably Bill. Connie's not on there, Bill. Bill doesn't have his own Facebook page, I don't think. Jonathan Nielsen, good to see you on here. This is Valentine's Day. We want to hear about your dating years with your spouse, or if you're still dating somebody, want to hear about that. If you're engaged, want to hear about how you asked your spouse to marry you. Want to hear about your early years. Want to hear some good stories about Valentine's Day, about love, about your relationship, about what God's doing. Dave Ross, give us a call. Cheryl, Mike Lewis, I'm writing my story for you now. Not while I'm on Facebook Live, Mike. Mike Lewis is one of our new members in North Carolina. He's got a great testimony, and I asked him to write. Oh, look, John Lyons, our bookkeeper and our office manager. John, are you calling in because I threatened to call you if you didn't?
Yes, you threatened to call me.
What do you want to talk about, John Lyons?
Well, I thought I'd give you a favorite romantic moment when I proposed to my wife.
Oh, guys, listen, those of you who don't know, this is our bookkeeper talking about our office manager and the romantic moment of him proposing to her. Ooh.
What a relationship the Lord has given us.
Tell me about it.
Well, let's see. I rode to the Black Sheep office, took Vicki out to lunch, and had a nice lunch conversation. Was getting ready to head back home. She got out of the truck. She was walking towards the office. I backed the truck out and was getting ready to leave. And you know, those God moments when the Lord says, ask her.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking, ask her what? So I rolled down the window of the truck, and I called her over, and I said, Vicki, before you go in, she says, what? I said, have I asked you to marry me yet? And she got this look, and I said, don't answer, I just did. And I rolled up the window and drove home, back to Lakewood.
Wait, you asked her, and then you left? You didn't wait for an answer?
Didn't wait for an answer.
Coward.
And all the way home. Coward. Definitely. I didn't want to hear the no or the yes. But ever since then, we'll be married 3 years this July. And from that moment on, the most romantic moments is waking up in the morning and seeing her face and saying, I got to get up and go to work at 5:30. 4 years. She just yelled at me.
Wait.
I got to look at my ring. Yeah, 4 years.
4 years and you've already forgotten? Oh, my goodness.
I've forgotten. That's not good, is it?
No, and did she ever...
So anyhow, it's been a blessing. We get up smiling, telling that we love each other going to work. And when we get home, after watching TV and we go to bed, we sit and joke and laugh and fall asleep. And it's just a beautiful relationship. Haven't had one argument since we've been married. Don't plan on having any.
Wow.
And the Lord has just blessed me. And with a godly woman, a woman full of wisdom and discernment that just totally understands. And it's just a blessing.
Good deal.
In my life. So.
Thanks for sharing.
And yes, I took your office manager from you.
Yeah, remember I threatened your life if you took my office manager to Orange County. And so you moved to South Riverside County.
Then we moved to Lake Elsinore.
Lake Elsinore.
I couldn't stand to see her drive every day.
Good. And thanks for not taking her away from me.
I didn't want to have to go through that. I didn't want to take the beatings.
Thank you, John.
But it's a blessing. Have a blessed night. Happy Valentine's Day to your beautiful wife and you.
Thank you so much.
And you got it. Have a good one.
Dale Pearson, I saw you tried to call in. Call me right now, Dale. 951-587-1623. If you call in and you don't get on right away, hang in there. It's because I'm on the line with somebody else. I'm not like those fancy radio shows that's got multiple phone numbers and a secretary sitting there answering the phone for me. Dale Pearson's going to give me a call. Call me about your dating or your engagement period, or just what's so special about your wife and your relationship or your husband. We want to hear from you on Valentine's Day. Hi, Dale. How you doing?
Hey, Marty. How you doing, buddy?
All the way from Monterey County?
Yep.
Tell us what's going on.
Well, actually, first thing first, I want all my brothers and sisters to pray for me. I'm going in for knee surgery tomorrow.
Ooh, knee surgery. So, okay.
Yeah, it's a minor surgery, but I'll be okay.
All right.
But just a little prayer would help.
Praying for Dale Pearson tonight.
I just thought I would give a call and tell you about me and my wife a little bit.
Let's hear it. Well,
we're 14 years, coming on 14 years in July. We met at a barbecue for myself. A friend threw a birthday party for me, and she was there. And I pulled up on my fat boy I had at the time. She was with a friend, and I saw her, and I fell in love at first sight. It was a different story for her, though. She was a little bit drawn back because, as she says, I wasn't her type. You know those bald-headed, bearded guys.
Bald-headed biker thugs, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so I asked her out, and our first date to me was the best date ever. We met at a coffee shop. I was kind of a gentleman, and I asked her to meet me there. And we talked and had coffee and hung out a while. And when the night ended, I asked her if I could kiss her goodnight, and she said yeah. And when she put her arm around my neck and did that little leg lift thing, I knew she was mine. So.
Oh my gosh. Is she there with you right now?
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Let me talk to that woman for a second.
All right, hang on a sec.
Oh, he hung up on us. Call me back, John. Or Dale. Call me back, Dale. I want to talk to your wife. Sharon, is that you?
Yeah, sorry about that. He hung up on you.
That's okay. Now, he wasn't your type.
Yeah, but I considered myself having a broken picker. You know what I mean? I did not choose well before him.
A broken what?
Not picker.
Okay.
I chose poorly in the past, and he wasn't my type, but really he was, because that was God's choosing.
So what? But why? If you didn't think he was the right type, why did you go out with him?
I listened to my God voice.
Okay,
and God,
all right.
God was leading me.
All right. And when he kissed you goodnight, did you really do that lift your leg thing?
Apparently I did.
I knew it. I knew she did.
Anything you want to tell us about Dale while I got you on the line?
So anyway, how about them Giants?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Usually there's about somewhere between 800 and 1,000 people that watch this program throughout the week. So what do you got to say, Sharon?
Well, all I can say is that I when I chose to listen to my God voice and God led me to him, and we made God a priority in our marriage. Matter of fact, he is the head of our household. Absolutely everything else fell into place. I never knew a marriage could be so wonderful. And, it's kind of like what John was saying. We just don't fight. We don't have arguments. And we discuss things that we disagree with. And it's just the healthiest relationship I could ever imagine. And I'm so happy with him.
Yeah, but making up after a fight's a lot of fun.
Well, I'll have something to look forward to then, won't I?
We can do fake fights.
Fake fights? Hey, thank you for calling in. And we're
let me
go ahead.
add one more thing real quickly.
Yeah.
So I just want everybody out there to know, without crying if I can, but my wife, Sharon, she's the one who led me to Christ.
Oh.
And no man wants to die after his wife. So if things go according to plan and I go first, I'm looking forward to the day when I get to hold her hand and lead her back to God.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you so much for that.
God bless you guys. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
And we're gonna pray for your knee surgery tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
All right, God bless, guys. John Sahlberg, you're on there. We're talking to couples from Black Sheep, or maybe engaged couples. Whoever's out there, Valdez. If you want to call in that are engaged or dating right now, we want to hear about your love life. Not really, but about how you met and your first date and how your marriage is going. This is not marriage counseling time. This is the time to hear the good news. Alien is online. Alien, otherwise known as Kent Wells. You there, dude? What's going on from South Dakota?
First of all, I tell you that my beautiful bride and I will be celebrating 43 years this summer as well.
Wait a minute now.
And
hey, start over. Start over. The mute button was on.
I can tell you about how we met or how we got together. I had been in another marriage, and that it did not end well. And I was talking with God and talking with a friend of mine, and I was making a list of all the reasons it would be hard, if not impossible, for me to find someone else. And I didn't know at that time, but as far as God was concerned, I was filling out a shopping list, and he went shopping and went right down the list, and everything that was on my my paper, the reasons why I wouldn't find another woman to love, he filled every single one of them. And she's just been a blessing to me for the almost 43 years. And one of the things about her I appreciate the most is that she lives daily. She exemplifies the unconditional love of God.
She's a sweet lady.
And it takes a lot of unconditional love to stay with me for 43 years.
No doubt about it. So God fulfilled your wish list. Is that right?
No doubt about it. So God fulfilled your wish list.
Absolutely. It was a shopping list for him. It was a shopping list for him.
No doubt about it.
Gotta turn your computer off.
Absolutely. List for him. It was a shopping list for him.
Okay, when you call in, you got to turn your computer off, because what happens is you hear me say something, and then as you start to speak, you start to hear me say it again on your computer because there's a delay. Well, that's neat. Thank you so much, Alien. Thank you so much, Marty, for sharing that story. Annie Duckett says, I love this. Why, Annie? Why do you love this? Hearing a bunch of married people talk about marriage. Jay Ingley, you want to tell us about your marriage? Who wants to talk to us about their marriage? About your dating years? About how you asked your spouse to marry you, or about some great thing that God has done for you? You want to wish your spouse a happy Valentine's Day in front of a lot of people? Give me a call in here, 951-587-1623. Eddie Yarder from Texas just joined us. You want to tell us about how you met your wife and how's it going? And we've heard everything so far. Remember, you're on here live. I can't erase anything. Debbie and I were 17 when we met, 17 when we fell in love, 18 when I asked her to marry me, 19 when we got married. So we started off young. We'll celebrate 43 years this summer. We've got 2 grown kids and their spouses, and now we have 2 granddaughters. And I'll tell you something, marriage is the way to go. Marriage is the way to go. John Lyons, get off of here. What are you doing? You're bugging Annie. What are you doing? Jody Richards, love to hear from you. Marcy McDaniel, talk to me. Somebody call me, 951-587-1623. Talk to me about Valentine's Day. Talk to me about how you met your spouse. Tell us about your honeymoon, the G-rated version of that. I can tell you ours. Boy, we actually wrote an article on ours and sent it in to Dr. Phil because he was asking for stories about disastrous honeymoons. And we had the honeymoon from hell. It was pretty intense, and we figured if we could survive that, we could survive a few more years together. 951-587-1623. You either call me or I'm going to tell you my story about my honeymoon. I'd rather hear yours. Call me. Maybe we don't have very many people on here tonight. Oh, there's 21 of you on there. Okay. All right. Okay, I guess people are still trying to find our new website. Marcy says, Happy Valentine's Day, chicken bones, even though we're apart. I have no idea what that means, but thanks for sharing. Okay. We've gone from the old site, which was a personal site, to a business site, and it's been tricky getting everybody to follow the new site. But there's so much more that we can do with this. For example, we've got ILS coming up here in a few months in the San Jose area, and we're able to take a Facebook posting about ILS and then super boost it in the San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco area. And so those kind of things are very, very cool. So anyway, Debbie and I were 19 when we got married. I'm going to put this on mute in case somebody calls in. We were 19 when we got married, and we went to Bear Lake up in northern Utah. And start back a little bit before that, she had gotten a little sick before the wedding, and so her dad, being a doctor, prescribed penicillin for her. And penicillin, she was allergic to it, didn't know that. And so she broke out in hives, and she was covered head to toe with these nasty little red bumps all the way down her body. My story, at the same time, simultaneously, living there at her house with her parents and her and everything, I was mowing the lawn. They had 2 or 3 acres of lawn, and he raised bees. And one day I was out there mowing, and a couple of bees got angry, and they started chasing me, and I got stung 2 or 3 times. So I got kind of paranoid about bees. She's allergic to penicillin, and I'm allergic to bees. So that's the way our couple of days before we got married got started. Now we're going to come back to that in a second. But we went off on our honeymoon in a Volkswagen Thing. You know what that is? A 1973 Volkswagen Thing. We had to go in that because our dear wedding guest covered my Volkswagen Bug with honey and then wrapped it in toilet paper. So we had to get into her father's Volkswagen Thing, and we took off for Bear Lake up in northern Utah. And let's just say that the red bumps were not an encouraging thing on your honeymoon. We had some other problems I can't tell you about that were interesting. But the next morning we decided that, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Since you're scratching all night and you're scratching those red bumps, we decided to go out and play some tennis. And so we walked outside on the balcony. As we're walking down the stairs with our tennis rackets, which is funny because we don't play tennis, a horsefly started buzzing around my head. But I thought it was a bee. So I took a great big swing at the horsefly, and I knocked out my wife of 36 hours. And she got her up and got her, put an ice pack on her head and everything. And then we thought, well, what are we going to do now? We said, well, hey, it's a beautiful lake. Let's go out on a boat and take a row. So we got inside this aluminum boat and we started rowing out onto the lake, and it was kind of nice. And she had an ice pack on her head and calamine lotion on her body, and we're rolling out there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, over the top of the mountain comes the biggest, blackest thundercloud you've ever seen, which is typical of Salt Lake City. And I started rowing for my life as lightning bolts were coming down and hitting the lake and hitting the mountain on the side of us and everything. So that was our honeymoon. I was really, really glad to get out of there. And we went down to San Diego to Point Loma College with $500 in our pocket and a sticky Volkswagen that was covered in honey, and went to school together, and the rest is history. So let me hear from you. 951-587-1623. Andy Sanchez, I would love to hear how you met your bride. And tell me why she married you. That's got to be a great story, Andy Sanchez. 951-587-1623. I think this is Andy. Andy, is that you?
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
This is Jody Richards.
Hi, Jody Richards. How are you?
I'm good. And I have a story about Bear.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Okay. Prior to me meeting Bear, I was first divorced, and I got a Harley because I needed to explore myself. So I went and I joined the local Palm Springs Hog chapter.
Uh-huh.
Going in there and getting all my gumption up and walking in there, the first person who put her arms around me was Joyce Hunt.
Of course.
And Joyce said, welcome. So I went to some hog meetings. Well, Black Sheep is part of the hog. And at that time, they had their breakfast at Bob's in Calamasa.
Right.
So I sucked it up and went to the meeting, up to the breakfast up in Calamasa. And this burly man came out and introduced himself. But I didn't know Christ, didn't know Jesus, didn't really want to know anything about anybody. But at that time, he said, can I put this pin on your vest? And it's a pewter cross. And I said, okay. What the hell? You can do that. So I went on my way. He went his way. And I went to Sturgis on my bike and went on my life. And I collected a lot of pins, but never took that one off. For some reason, it stayed exactly where he put it on my vest. Down the road, we met each other back up through Facebook. and we finally met together and stuff like that. And now, we spent our honeymoon last year at ILS in Mesa.
Oh, so you could say you had a hot honeymoon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. But I still have that pewter pin on my vest, not knowing where Christ at the time was going to lead me, where God was going to come into my life or anything. But to this day, that pin obviously is still on my vest in the exact place where Bear put it.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. That's so cool.
So he has been a very big influence on my life, and come April will be 1 year that we'll be married.
Oh, good for you. Good for you guys. That's super. Well, is he doing anything special with you tonight?
No, my mom recently had a mild stroke, so I've been in and out of the hospital. So he's been propping me up, basically, being the good person that he is, and hearing me vent and keeping me calm and everything like that. So that's basically what it is. No, we're not doing anything special until my mom gets better and comes home.
Black Sheep, let's pray for her mom later on tonight, okay? Shall we? Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. Bear, you dog, I didn't know you had it in you. That's so cool. Andy, I think you were trying to call in a few minutes ago. 951-587-1623. Give me a call, because you're going to be a hoot. I can imagine your story is going to be funny. I want to hear it. Gordon Hicks, I bet your story about getting married or your honeymoon or your engagement was pretty funny too. Give me a call. Linz, I don't know if we want to hear your story about your honeymoon or not, because you're just a wild man. Okay, it probably involves balloons and all kinds of wild, crazy things. 951-587-1623. This is our Valentine's night program. We want to hear romantic stories from you. Maybe what God's done for you in your marriage. Maybe you want to talk about how ridiculously crazy your wedding was or your engagement was. Maybe you just want to tell us what you love most about your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fiance. Give us a call. Give me a call right now, 951-587-1623. You don't want to hear my story again, do you? No? Okay. Okay, Gordon, back from delivering King's flowers. Wow. That's cool. Happy V-Day to you too, Linz. We have a small turnout tonight, and I think it's partly because it's Valentine's Day, which means a lot of guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Some of us just walked in from work, and so we're here watching Facebook Live. Hope you give your wife a big hug and a kiss or a box of candy. I bought my wife 4 chocolate-covered strawberries, and I'm hoping that she's gonna get to eat one of them. We've got, oh no, look out! We've got Bill Ream on the phone. Bill, are you there?
You do not want to hear the story.
I don't want to hear your story?
You do not want to hear this story.
Okay, thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you later. Bill Ream is Central Oregon Black Sheep, and we're going to hear some horrible story from this guy. Does this involve wild animals or anything?
No, it involves blindness.
Blindness. Oh, I get it. Wait. I already got it. Your wife was blind before she married you, and then she got healed and saw what she stuck with for eternity.
That's sort of close to the story.
Tell me the story, Bill. Tell me the story.
Okay, so we met on a blind date.
There you go.
And she hasn't gained her sight yet.
Bill, back off the medication a little bit, Bill. Tell me the rest of the story.
So we met on a blind date, and I just got to say, 41 years ago. That's a lot of blindness.
Yeah.
That's a lot of blindness. So anyway, I mean, obviously the best thing that happened in my life, and you know, it's been a rocky marriage. I mean, we've had our times. You know what I mean? We weren't walking with the Lord when we first got married, and we were believers, but we were not walking with the Lord. And so over the course of, I believe I was 27. She was a little older than me, not a whole lot. But,
don't say that, dude. You don't say that. on Facebook Live for every. She's 15 years younger.
I do. You probably wouldn't, but I do. Anyway, we rededicated our lives to Christ, and it really did have a huge impact in our marriage. And so, the neatest thing I think that recently happened is the fact that I stepped down from youth ministry, and for 20 years I was involved with youth and have dedicated to Black Sheep. And my wife is now and me are both involved in ministry, and I think that's the coolest thing that has happened for us. Is she was never really a high school, junior high advocate. She doesn't really care to be around the young people that much, and it wasn't really her thing. But Black Sheep, she's really embraced, and so it's really cool to be able to minister with my wife.
Your
past.
past.
What a great team. I mean, it's been really cool. And so, anyway, I would say my wife is an amazing lady, and she supports me in everything I do. And I worked with youth for 20 years, and I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not been married to this lady, because she really frees me up to do a lot of things. And so it's really cool. We're getting up in years, so I'm a little older than you are, and we're ministering together, and that is really exciting for me. I'm looking forward to being able to minister with my wife, and it's just been a blessing.
Oh, that's good to hear. Is she right there with you?
Yeah, she is.
Connie, are you there?
I am here,
Connie,
Marty.
listen, if you ever need help, I know a lot of people.
I might have to call you one of these days. You never know.
Sister, you feel free, because I know a lot of people up there that will take him out if he ever hurts you or disappoints you.
Yeah. Well, my name on my vest doesn't say bill collector for no reason.
Of course it does. Thank you.
It's just a little hard to collect. It's harder to collect than some of my deadbeat accounts.
Well, you know why they left him in youth ministry so long is because he fit so well.
Well, that's it exactly. Totally. You got it on. Hit that nail on the head.
Thank you guys for calling in and sharing. I'm glad God is.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bill, don't wish me a happy Valentine's Day. You're a dude. Exxon Valdez, you're engaged. You're about to get married. You better give me a call right now, buddy. This is a chance for you to make some points. 951-587-1623. Give me a call. Come on, Exxon Valdez. And someone else was trying to call in earlier, too. Keep trying. We're going to go another few minutes. Oh, wait, here's Linz Phillips. Okay, hang on. This is my boss. This is one of the board members. Linz Phillips, what's up?
Hey, Marty.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm doing my job, Mr. Board Member. I want you to see me doing. I'm here. I'm in action.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, good.
And that's good. You're going to be paid next week.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No, we got I just wanted to share our Valentine's story a bit.
Sure.
I know a couple of months ago we hosted Black Sheep Live, and we shared our testimony and the restoration story with our marriage. But I think the coolest thing about that is that there is hope for people that are struggling with marriage. And ours kind of started off funny because we met in college. I was a sophomore and she was a freshman. And the first day I saw her walking down the sidewalk, I thought, she's the one.
Yeah.
and quite literally, I think it was right after our first date, we came back to campus in Southern California, and we were in the car, and we parked in the parking lot, and I basically just said, I want to marry you. And I think we'd only gone out like one time. And I just knew in my heart that this was the woman that God had chosen for me. And sure enough, almost 38 years later, we're still together. Like Bill and Connie, we've had our roller coaster ride, but God is faithful. And when we turned back to Him, He caused me to have a deeper love for my wife than I ever had, even before our difficult times. And so
awesome.
God is good. And
awesome.
and I'm blessed with the best wife in the world.
There you go. Yes, you are. Yes,
Yep.
you are. And is your wife there?
She is. Here, I'll let you talk.
Hey, Vicky.
Hey, Marty.
I just want to offer you what I offered the last wife. I know a lot of people, and we can take care of that man if you ever need me to. Okay?
He is doing well. he brought me a dozen roses home.
Oh,
and,
how about that?
Yeah, no, it's been a interesting journey, but thankful for being on the ride, and we just thankful for that we love each other after all these years.
Thank you so much. That's so cool. God bless you guys. Is Exxon Valdez? Exxon Valdez. Are you there? Exxon? Well, what's going on with you, man? Exxon Valdez?
Life is in a whirlwind, but God will never give us more than we can handle, so I'm handling it pretty well, I could say.
You're about to get married.
Yes, sir, I am.
Tell us how you asked. Tell us how you asked that lovely lady to be your wife. Axon, how old are you?
It was actually, I'm 31.
31. I wanted our members to be able to put that into perspective, and you can go on this Facebook page and look at a picture of this young couple. Tell us how you asked her to marry you.
Actually, it was kind of a cool story. I actually asked my mom to come to church, who isn't a believer.
Yeah.
And she said she would come to church, and so I just thought it was a perfect timing. I just happened to buy a ring, and we all went to service on a Sunday, and most of our chapter was there at our church. And after service, I just ran outside and waited for my bride-to-be to come out, and I was on one knee at the bottom of the stairs and just asked her if she'd make me an honest man.
Well, it's going to take a lot more than a ring to do that, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to baptize me 3 or 4 times, so.
Now you did the same thing I did, where you showed up with a ring that you'd already bought. Right?
What was that you were cutting out, Marty?
I said you did what I did. You showed up with a ring that you'd already bought and paid for.
Yes, sir.
What would you have done if she'd said no?
Well, I would have had to tuck my tail between my legs and ask God for some strength and, lean on my brothers and sisters and ask for advice to see what I could do differently. But, I had plenty of favor on that day, and she said yes, so,
What is your wedding date?
Can't complain.
August 25th.
25th, the last Saturday in August.
Yep, I'm going to be there.
River Ranch, where we had our Pacific Northwest rally at, same spot.
I'm going to be there, buddy.
Well, we're looking forward to you being there. It's going to be a blessing, and
good deal.
We're going to have us a biker wedding, so, I'm still trying to coordinate with Tammy and my family and the others that are going to be helping us put this on, but, we're just chucking it up to glory and just people helping, and, this is going to be a pretty neat deal for all of us.
God help that church.
Right?
Well, congratulations to you. Thanks for sharing your Valentines with us.
Not a problem. I was surprised to see you guys doing the Facebook Live, but Tammy and I are actually just leaving Costco, of all places, after dinner.
You romantic devil, you.
You got to buy in bulk, buddy.
Costco. Well, make sure you take her out for a Valentine hot dog.
I did. She had a Polish dog. It was a joke. We had Applebee's. Super romantic, right?
All right. Very cool. Good to talk to you.
All right, buddy.
He got her a Costco hot dog, a super butt. But he went out for the Polish dog. He went all the way. Vicky, I'm sorry. I think I cut you off. I wasn't sure. Linz, tell your wife I'm sorry. There's some other of you that are trying to get in, and we've got about 10 minutes left. So give me a call and tell me about your honeymoon. Tell me about your your engagement period. Tell me how you asked your spouse to get married. If you're dating with somebody, you can come in and talk to Jim Facile, and he'll give you marriage advice. Jim Love, you got to hear from Jim Love on Valentine's Day, right? What do you mean we quit? Wait, no, Lynn says we quit. You guys are nuts. Talking about Valentine's Day, and my phone number is 951-587-1623. Got about 10 minutes left, and if you want to tell us about your relationship, your spouse, any aspect of your marriage, if you want to give God thanks and glory for your marriage, I know you're not going to be able to top Bill Ream's story, but we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Linz. Thank you, Jim. 951-587-1623. Where are you? Give me a call. Otherwise, I'm going to pray and we're going to go. Let me remind you that ILS is upon us, and if you can register, we'd sure appreciate it. It helps us to plan. It helps us to get ready for the event. There were 10 RV spaces made available at the church campus. We are now down to 1 RV space left. I did contact the city of San Jose today, and the church is on kind of a rural street, and I asked for a permit to be able to park RVs on that street behind the church. We'll wait and see what happens. Don't forget, Dale Pearson is going in for knee surgery tomorrow. Dale's from out there in, gosh, I always forget my Santas. Over there on the coast west of San Francisco. He's going in for his knee surgery tomorrow. Be sure you keep him in prayer. Jamie Lee, we're just in love. And I can, you know what the funny thing is? I can hear you saying that. I can hear you saying it. Here's Mark Cruz from Wheaton, California. Mark, what are you doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty well.
Well, why aren't you out on a fancy date with your wife?
Been there and back already.
Oh, been there and back. Okay. What'd you do?
My wife and I just went out to supper tonight.
Well, tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, not too much. I just want to let guys know that Kat and I have been married 45 years this year. So
45 years.
Really,
that's awesome.
Yeah, really thanking the Lord for that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Marriage is good when it's that old, isn't it? We're 43 years. That's a good run.
Oh yeah, definitely. She keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I know she does. Are you freezing to death there tonight?
Is what?
Are you freezing there tonight?
Pretty much. Well, we had a little bit warmer weather today, but probably over the last weekend, we've had probably 16 inches of snow.
So how's riding?
How's riding right now? The bike's under the blanket.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Monterey. Dale Pearson just told us it's Monterey. Monterey, I can't ever get that straight. We're going to pray for Dale. Dale, you might want to give Mark Cruz a call. He's had a couple of shoulder replacements, and Dale is going in for a knee replacement tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'm looking at a knee replacement, too, on my one knee. But, yeah, no, I know what it's like.
We should get patches for that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Instead of mileage patches, we'll get parts of the body that have been replaced.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to change your name, Mark, to Spare Parts.
Yeah. Things for Sturgis are going pretty well for this year.
Sturgis is going well. Good.
Yeah, all we have left are dorm rooms.
All you've got left is dorm rooms. Guys, are you hearing that? If you're going to Sturgis in August and you think that you're going to stay at the camp, all they have left is dorm rooms. All the apartments and bedrooms are taken up. So if you even want one of those dorm rooms, sounds like you better get on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, things took off really fast this year. I mean, we have a lot that are non-black sheep, so I'm hoping to get more black sheep there.
All right. Well, guys, you can call our office and we'll hook you up with Mark Cruz and how you can get a hold of him. You want to give your number over the phone? No, probably not a good idea. Call the office.
Fine. No, yeah,
go ahead.
No, you can do that.
Go ahead.
630-715-3621.
630-715-6321.
715-3621.
All right. If you guys want to get a room in Sturgis, you better jump on it right now. All right. Well, Mark, give your wife a hug for me. Tell her I said hi, and happy Valentine's Day to you.
All right, you take care, Marty.
Thanks, buddy. All right, we got time for one more call. One more Valentine's Day call. We thought we'd just take tonight off from the usual stuff and give you guys a chance to call in. John Strickland, Kelly Jenkins, Kent Wells. Yeah, Kent Wells, by the way, as far as spare parts, Kent Wells wanted to make the part that he doesn't have a knee replacement or a shoulder replacement, but he's got someone else's heart in his body, and he's still cooking, which is really good. Tom Vay's on the phone. Good to see you. Interesting story we can tell you sometime about Kent Wells and the guy that put his heart in his body years later ended up joining Black Sheep. That was a really cool story in itself. So many stories about it's like looking at a road map and how roads come together, and you realize that what those things are stories of God working in our lives. We've got Jonathan Nielsen here. Well, Jonathan, did I hang up on you? Oh, Jonathan, call me back. I pushed the wrong button. Jonathan, call me back. I pushed the wrong button. Got our last caller in here, Jonathan Nielsen from Missouri, and I pushed the button, but it was the hang-up button. Oh, Jonathan, I'm sorry. Call me back. Call me back, Jonathan Nielsen. Here he is. There he is. Sorry about that, Jonathan. I didn't mean to hang up on you.
That's okay. I thought somebody had called in ahead of me.
No, it's you. How are you doing?
Well, doing great, Marty. Thanks very, very much.
What are you going to tell us about?
I had to kind of call in tonight because there were a couple of stories that kind of fit into this. Actually, from earlier tonight, we're like a little bit like you and Debbie. Teresa and I started dating in high school. Yeah. I'm not quite sure yet how I was so fortunate enough and blessed to snag her.
You know what? Jonathan, we've all thought the same thing.
Well, I appreciate that. The first time that we met, I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, and she was dropping off a love note to him. And I thought, well, she's kind of cute. And then off she went, and didn't see her again for a while. And then I really sealed the deal when my best friend and I were going to double date, and he asked Teresa on a date, and I couldn't find one, so I went anyways. And so it was the three of us, and my buddy said, he was a little bit upset with me because he said, I've never been so funny in my entire life as I was that night. And 2 weeks later, she dumped him, and we started dating.
How many of you online have ever heard of a double date with three people?
Well, that just goes to tell you how surprised I am. I couldn't find any other girls that would go out with me, and then here she dumped my best buddy, and we started dating.
How long have you guys been married?
This summer, just after ILS in June here, it'll be 29 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But one other thing I wanted to mention, Marty, was just that with you talking about the Wheaton campus there, Teresa and I actually got married at High Sega, just down the road from that, off of just outside of Rapid City, just where the Wheaton campus is. You go back on that road a ways down to High Sega. We had some good friends at the house there, right on Rapid Creek, and that's where we got married. That
is a beautiful area.
It was wonderful.
And I almost came to see Jesus on that road.
Did you?
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, you know how they got those little gullies on the side, little drainage areas of grass. And there was two deer laying there, and I'm looking right at them. Speed limit was, I think, 50 or 55, and I was doing 45 because I knew it was dusk and I knew the deer were out. And I'm looking right at them, and they're looking at me, right? But at the last minute, they decided to jump out, and I had one go over my front fender and one go over my back fender, and I was in the middle. And I left a 30-foot, skid mark in the middle of the road. Well, actually, I left another skid mark, but I won't talk about that.
I was going to say, I'm glad you said it. Well, you know very well, unfortunately, growing up in Rapid there, we heard those stories quite often during the rally. There was always bikes and deer that weren't getting along at some point along that couple of week time frame. But
that's a beautiful area, and I've ridden that a lot of times, and I've been to the Wheaton Science Station where, and God bless Wheaton College. They if you want to go to Sturgis, you're probably paying $200, $250 a night for a Motel 6, and you're staying in this beautiful camp for anywhere from $30 to $50 a night, depending on what kind of a room you get. Have you guys had a chance to stay there yet?
We have not stayed there. We actually still had a house there until just a year ago. This month, a year ago, we sold our house up in Rapid. We wanted to keep it for thinking about. We're right near Canyon Lake Park there, thinking about the rally, but we're 1,000 miles away, and it was just hard to maintain something like that. So we went ahead and sold it.
Well, anyway, that's great. How did you and Teresa? How did you ask her to marry you? Was it anything special?
It is interesting. I never did ask her to marry me. I was a little bit. Dale was talking about being a little bit nervous and forgetting to get down on one knee. I forgot to actually ask her to marry me. I asked her if she would have my babies, and she said yes. And then we ended up getting married. So,
Jonathan, you come across as a fairly conservative guy, but after talking to you, you're really a weirdo.
Well,
you show up. You show up.
Wasn't smart enough to say it right.
You show up as a third wheel on a date, and then you ask this woman to have your babies. My goodness.
Hey, it worked, Marty.
Yes, it did. You know what? You can't knock success, right?
That's what I'm going with. That's right.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to you two guys. You're a treasured member of this ministry.
Thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Debbie as well. Thank you.
God bless. Well, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Facebook Live. Spread the word about this new channel that we're on. Some people are still trying to figure it out. Actually, I'm trying to figure it out because everything works a little bit differently. But thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your Valentine's things. Love one another. Respect one another. Treat one another as you would want to be treated. Love each other with the sacrificial love of Christ. God bless you guys. Thanks for being a part of this ministry.